When Earth had been initially discovered, it was thought to be a remote and undeveloped place. Granolah, on the other hand, couldn't get enough of it. It appeared to be disconnected from everything else in the larger universal scale that he had grown to despise over time. Sure, it did indeed appear to be a bit of a backwater, but, seeing those odd snippets of advanced civilization down on the planet, and you compare them to his homeworld, was something that drew Frieza and the Heeters and their lackeys in the first place. So Granolah felt some sense of relatability. Maybe perhaps the people of Earth got a better deal in the end after all. Granolah began to start doubting what Cranberry had told him after seeing it from orbit. The world appeared to be at peace. Not at all like the planet that hosted the final battle between Bardock and the Space Emperor. Surely there would have been a lot more damage on display. Looked like nothing happened. He chose to land in a desolate area of the desert, far from any inhabited areas. In all honesty, do you believe he could be nearby? For all we know, the scumbag could have been lying to us.
I'm not certain. I simply want to believe. But regardless, Earth's stunning beauty cannot be denied.
Along with the desert?
My feelings about deserts aren't all that strong. They're usually visually similar to one another. Nonetheless, the sand structure is indeed distinct.
Well, that only gives us the impression that we haven't been in a good place for a long time. The question then becomes, well, what's our strategy? Granolah remained motionless for a brief moment. That was a good question. What was the plan? Was he going to approach every single person that he met and inquire about the Saiyan named Bardock? Was it really going to take that long? Well, given that he was the one who had rescued them from Frieza, surely these people would have no choice but to be acquainted with him. Surely he'd be some kind of international superstar. He had high hopes that a global translator would be equipped with the vast majority of the populace. Granolah then came across a group of merchants travelling through the desert who were taken aback by his question. They were, however, familiar with the name Saiyan. It turns out that a Saiyan invasion had occurred a few years ago, but it had been cut short for some unknown reason. Nobody knew what happened to them. Had Bardock prevented his brethren from carrying out their plans? Or maybe it had been Bardock that had caused that invasion. Maybe he wasn't as honourable as he thought he was, Granolah. It was the absolute worst case scenario imaginable. Despite his relief at discovering any kind of Saiyan connection on the planet, he noticed that when he asked the caravan members about a person named Frieza, they looked at him rather strangely, as if they had never ever heard that term before. Cranberry's story may have been true in some parts, but not in all of those parts. He then said his goodbyes to the group, and they left him with some supplies to help him survive alone in the desert. This group had to feel sorry for the strange spaceman with the talking goggles. He was all on his own, and he looked like he was about to starve at any moment. At the very least, the people who lived here, Granolah thought, appeared to be friendly. Time continued to pass, and the pair had then traversed the desert for a considerable amount of time in search of a powerful entity. Oatmeal then chimed in.
Wait, my sensors are picking up a power level that is noticeably higher than it has been in the past, near that distant stone structure. Should we go over there and check it out? This power is minor in comparison to you, but it's more powerful than those merchants. If this person comes from a fighting caste, he may have heard of Bardock.
As they approached the structure, they noticed a man with spiky hair, a scar, and a floating cat. No, not Bardock. Incorrect scar, Granolah thought, but who was he training with? He was, in fact, practicing energy projections. Ooh. And the feline monster was encouraging him to do it harder.
You can do it, Yamcha! You gotta beat your record!
Okay, little buddy, relax. It's the quality, not the quantity, that is important. According to the Cerulean, this individual was directing an energy blast at the stone pillars before immediately eliminating the falling debris with his fists. The cat appeared to be using some kind of primitive mechanism to keep time. When compared to some of his previous bounties, the Granolah thought, that seemed rather amazing for someone with such a low power to be demonstrating. Excuse me, Granolah implying the conversation with the pair would be safe.
We don't want to cause a commotion!
The two were clearly taken aback by Oatmeal's phony voice, as evidenced by the fact that Yamcha had doubled back, turning his head rapidly in Oatmeal's direction. You an android? Granolah raised both of his eyebrows. Oh, no, I'm not an android. No. Oatmeal's my AI friend, and my name is Granolah. Is that what you're supposed to be getting at? Yamcha? Your younger companion mentioned your name, so may we... Would you mind if we talked about something with you? I've been looking for someone, and you might be able to assist me. Poir poked Yamcha in the back just as he was trying to act tough. Hey, Poir, calm down. They appear on the level.
Come on, strange fellow, said Poir with suspicion. What are you specifically looking for?
The civilian began speaking. He sat down in a place that was not immediately threatening to the pair. All right. Have you ever heard of an evil space tyrant named Frieza? This question caught the thief completely off guard. Oh, believe me, in every way, buddy. That guy was a jerk. We're relieved he's no longer with us. Wait, are you sure you're not one of his men? Granola's confidence was bolstered by the fact that he had heard of the man. Maybe they might get somewhere with these two. No, I'm searching for the formidable Super Saiyan who goes by the name of Bardock. He is the one who killed him. I require his assistance. Poir and Yamcha exchanged looks with one another. What? I've never met anyone with that name before. Granolah then looked crestfallen. But Yamcha continued. It was my pal Goku who beat Frieza. The first time, I mean. The other time was, complicated. But yeah, he's the Super Saiyan you might be looking for. Goku? Granolah rolling that name over his tongue. Oh, okay, of course. Bardock was obviously acting under the guise of somebody else the entire time. If he was going to be going into hiding, of course he would have a suit in him. Of course! Granolah was embarrassed that he hadn't thought of this idea before. It was indeed incredibly fortunate for him to have run into this Yamcha individual. This was the furthest they'd gotten with anyone on the planet. Even more amusing was the fact that Yamcha was under the impression that Bardock was some kind of bizarre title or nickname that Goku maybe had acquired during his time spent out in space. Well, actually, Goku doesn't live too far away, along with his family. If you'd like, I can take you to him. That would be great. Thank you.
Tell me, by the way, why exactly are you training?
But Yamcha batted his hand from side to side as if it were nothing. Because of the android phenomenon, which caught us all off guard, we're doing this. Well, we're anticipating... Well, I'll tell you later, but I'll just say that it's all part of the complicated Frieza thing. As they made their way from the tower, Oatmeal decided to strike up casual conversation in an effort to facilitate Granola's efforts in trying to make some friends. Since his companion from cereal wasn't very good at meeting new people, the very perceptive AI reasoned that maybe he probably could do well to be sociable here.
That tower over there, is that your house?
Oh, yeah, well, not really. We recently moved over to West City, which has served as some kind of sanctuary for all of us. I take it this is your first time in the neck of the woods, yeah? Poir then chipped in.
What country are you from?
Well, up until a couple of months ago, I had no idea that your planet even existed. I was keeping a sharp eye out for Bardock. There are some evil people associated with Frieza who have managed to avoid being punished. They're to blame for, well, the Saiyans eradicating my entire race. Oh, goodness. Well, that's a shame to hear, buddy. How many of you are still around today? It's just me. A brief pause was taken by Yamcha. Sorry, man. I really hope you're not going to hold Goku accountable for anything like that. No. I reasoned that since Bardock was the one who had kept me alive when I was younger, that maybe I should be able to get in touch with him, should I need him again. Yamcha couldn't make heads or tails of the story, but if the guy was looking for help from a Super Saiyan, Yamcha knew exactly who to call on. Well, since they had one. But to be fair, the vast majority of Saiyans are total jerks. Especially Vegeta. But apparently he's turned into some kind of ally now. Wait a minute. Prince Vegeta? He's still alive? Yamcha replied. Oh yeah. Goku ended up defeating him. And as a result, he joined forces with us against Frieza. To tell you the truth, even after all this time, I still don't trust the guy. Oh, hey, cool, we're here. As they grew closer to a humble abode, they saw two diminutive figures standing there. While the other went fishing for dinner, the taller of the two of them was reading a book. The hair from afar, the posture from afar. It looked like it was Bardock all along. Granolah decided not to frighten Yamcha, spook him. They all then approached them calmly. Hey, good to see you guys!
Hey, Yamcha, good to see ya. Who's your new buddy?
It had been a very long time since Granolah had heard Bardock's voice, so yes, I imagine over the rigors of time it might have been possible that he may not have sounded like what he had remembered. This is Granolah, and Oatmeal. He's these talking robot goggles or something like that. They come from a planet named Cereal. He's put in a request for assistance to someone by the name of Bardock? There's a brief pause on Goku's part.
Huh. That name sounds kind of familiar, but I'm not sure if I can help you out, pal,
said Goku slowly. Granolah then realized at this point that, no, the individual in question here was not Bardock, because, no, he looked too young to be Bardock. In actuality, he looked younger than the Cerulean himself. However, the similarities to Bardock were uncanny. The only difference was that he appeared to have a much more positive attitude. Also no scar. He almost looked unrecognizable as a Saiyan in appearance. Both he and the young boy, who almost had to be the man's son, were born without tails also. And concerning the son, it appeared that he had an interest in oatmeal when he walked up to them.
Please excuse me, sir. Are you sure there's a robot in there?
Well, to tell you the truth, I'm more of an artificial intelligence. Hello, little Saiyan. Dude, my name's Oatmeal.
Wow. Wow, it's incredible!
It appears the child was overjoyed by this news. Despite the fact that the dialogue was making the Cerulean chuckle, he still wanted to make sure that he was in the right place. I believe that I confused you with someone who existed in the past. Yamcha revealed that you're a Super Saiyan to me. Is there any truth to that? Goku gave a nod.
Yep.
You are?
Are you the one who put an end to Frieza's life?
Oh, I'm not the one who killed him.
Granolah appeared to be bewildered at that confusing revelation.
He was killed by a guy called Trunks, but he's not available right now. However, I did beat him the first time, because Trunks comes from the future. Funny, right?
The Cerulean went through phases of complete shock as a means of alleviating their state of confusion.
So, Granolah, would you like to see it?
We'll see what?
Super Saiyan.
Oh, yes, many thanks. Goku stepped back.
But let's get away from the house, yeah? My wife hates it when I do things that are too close to the house. Go on, tell your mother we'll be back in a while, okay?
Granolah wasn't sure if he was being tricked or not, or if this man's wife really was that terrifying that they had to move from the house, as they made their way to the nearest plateau. However, after a short while, he witnessed something that could only be described as incredible. This amiable doppelganger, also known as Goku, had transformed. His expression became more solemn, and there was a golden sheen that emanated from his hair, adding a dazzling-like quality, in an identical fashion to what Cranberry had demonstrated to him. He was the one who triumphed over Frieza. He had to be. And it seemed like he had a good disposition to boot. This was a stroke of good luck. Goku then looked to Granolah.
Would you describe yourself as having a fighting spirit?
Huh?
It seems that you're a tough person. Would you say that you have a fighting spirit?
Goku asked again. Granolah shook his head. I would describe myself more as a bounty hunter. But I can punch hard, I guess.
Do you mind if we spar a little bit? My philosophy is that you cannot truly get to know somebody until you fight them.
Interesting. The Saiyan was asking to engage him in combat. It felt like Granolah was being sized up or examined or something. Maybe, if Granolah was someone who was deserving of his help, this might have been worth doing, and Granolah had no plans to perform poorly on this examination at all. Okay, sure.
Okay, Yamcha, Puar, it's up to you to decide who's best. Let's go!
The fight began as the two of them got into position, and in this conflict, Goku would go on to be surprised by the prowess of his adversary. And that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now.